Well, welcome and hello, Shoma. It's been so good to see you again. I've missed you. We used to be buddies over there in Perth, and 4 years ago or so now I moved up to the beautiful Broome, a very remote town up in Western Australia. For those of you listening internationally, we luckily have stayed friends, but it just feels like such a long time ago I gave you a big hug. So it's so beautiful to see your face again, Shoma, on here. So books. Today we're going to talk about books. We're going to talk about how to write and publish books. And today I would love to share with you how I wrote and published my very first non-fiction book in 72 hours and got it to #1 bestseller internationally. I love writing. I absolutely love it. And you don't have to be perfect at it straight away. My first version 1 of my first book absolutely sucked, just like version 1 of anything is a little bit pants. But the cool thing about anything is that the second time you do it, you get a little bit better. The third time you do it, you get better again, and so on and so forth. And the easier things become, the more familiar things become, the more you enjoy them. So the more time you spend on it, and therefore you go into this self-fulfilling prophecy of just getting better and better, higher and higher. So yes, I have now written and self-published 12 books of my own. And 5 of those have hit the #1 international bestseller mark. And what I want to share with you guys today is that it is not as hard as we think it is in our minds. It really isn't. And that reaching a level of success in this space is much easier than you might think, especially when you have people on your side who can help guide you through the process. Really, 72 hours is all it took. And I'd love to share with you today that process that we went through.
Yes, Sarah. I mean, that is what people find so overwhelming when I say, let's write an ebook in 3 days, and you've done it in 3 days. So people are like, I can't even get an idea. So if you can tell people, because a lot of the people in this group are people who are also running businesses, who are also entrepreneurs, and they want to turn their courses into books or books into courses. And who better to talk about this than you, because you're the queen, the empress of course creation. Seriously, listeners, if you want anyone to help you with your course creation, then Sarah is it. There is no other. I mean, she gives away so much for free. I've learned so much in these last years just doing your courses. It's incredible. So yeah, over to you again.
Well, lovely. Thank you for the little plug there, Shoma. That's very kind of you. But yes, so I was kind of like every newbie author, I had dreamed my whole life of writing a book. There was a little bit of ego in that. I really just wanted that day where I could go, I'm a published author. I kind of did dream about the status and the credibility that would bring to my business. And I'm telling you now, it's dramatic, it's measurable, and it's significant. The second you have author after your name, it makes a big difference to how many people want to interview you, how many people want you on their podcast, how many people want you on their stages to come and speak, how many clients and consultants respect you and look up to you at a higher level. Being an author has credibility just automatically attached to it. I also just had this passion, this inner desire to want to write. I just had this thing that was like, I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about doing this. But then in my head, I was like, but this is like a big thing. Surely like it's going to take me 25 years to write a book. I mean, I was quite young at the time. Maybe I'm not old enough. I need to have lived for 100 more years before I have anything worthy to say. And then I was like, and I don't have big marketing teams and I don't have loads of money. And how do you even do this? And then I sat back and I thought about, what do I do every day? Well, I'm a qualified course creation specialist. I've been writing curriculum for years. And there's probably a lot of things that you do that will surprise you how similar it is to book writing. So I thought, well, what do I do when I help somebody create a course? What I literally get them to do is I get them to come up with the top 25 to 50 tips in their area of expertise. Now, if you can't come up with 25 to 50 tips, there are lots of ways that you can get the internet to help you. One thing I love to do is go to the internet, go to Google and type in ways to, and then your topic, and find these things called listicles. Like listicles are article lists. They are basically lists of, like 21 ways to lose weight, 15 ways to be happier by tomorrow, 55 ways to grow your email list, right? These are these like listicle things. So you type in ways to, then your topic, and you will find these listicles. Now you open up those listicle articles and you will find all of these tips, tip after tip after tip after tip. All you've got to do is go through those and go, do I have my own unique way of explaining that, presenting that, doing that? It's a really cool trigger for your brain. Now, you're not copying, you're just triggering your memory and lifting up the vault of the archive of our brains that has more stuff in it sometimes than we give ourselves credit for. These triggers will help you go, oh yeah, I do know about that. I can explain that in my own special, unique way. And so literally write down these tips that you have. And there are many other ways to find these tips. And I actually do have a free gift for you all at the end of this podcast to help you find those different strategies. So let's pretend you have come up with 50 tips in your topic, 50 questions, the answers to the top 50 questions people are asking in your field. So the next thing I do when I'm helping somebody create a course is to say, well, now you've got those 50 tips, you just answer them as succinctly and quickly as you possibly can. People today are opening these information-based books for information. If they want to read a novel, they want to be entertained, they're going to go and buy a novel, and they want to go and buy a book that's fiction, right? If you're writing a non-fiction book that is, the purpose of it is to make you be seen as an expert in your field, answer the question fast. So first of all, you can get rid of this thing in your head that it has to be like this gigantic encyclopedia of everything in the world about your topic, right? You do not have to know everything about your topic. Your book does not need to cover everything about your topic. It just needs to answer the most top questions right now. So I get them to answer it. Now in a course, of course, you do that by video. You turn your video camera on, you answer the questions, 10 minutes per question, nice and short, straight to the point, give the people the information they want, and you upload those videos to a learning management system. Now with a book, you do exactly the same. You answer the question, but in written form. Now here's how I wrote my book so fast. What I did is I quite literally took those 50 tips, I answered the questions, and I took 50 A4 pages on a digital document. Now, I like to work with Google Docs. There's lots of different platforms you can use to obviously get your thoughts onto paper. I like Google Docs because it auto saves your document for you. And if your computer blows up or a cyclone hits, which is a genuine issue in Broome, you're not going to lose all your stuff. So I simply put the tip or the question, one tip at the top of each page, 50 pages, okay, 50 pages, they're blank pages, the top of each page. All I did was put my tip on the question I was answering. Then I thought, well, do you know what? I wasn't very experienced at writing at the time. I felt awkward, and the blank page terrified me, absolutely terrified me. As soon as I saw that blank page, I went, I think I'm going to go and look in the fridge again. Like, that thing when you look in the fridge and you hope that all of life's questions will be answered. That's exactly what I was like when I saw this blank page. So I was like, right, I'm great at talking, if you haven't noticed already. For me, it just comes out. I've been teaching my whole life. I've been talking to people about my thing my whole life. I've been having conversations with people about my thing my whole life, just like you have. So I thought, I have an idea. I downloaded the Google Docs app on my phone, and you can download this too. It's completely free of charge. Go to your app center, type in Google Docs. Now on Google Docs, there is a completely free feature called voice typing. Oh yes, my friends, it does exactly what you think it's going to do, right? So I just had a baby, FYI. I stuck a little pair of cheap $10 headphones into my phone, which had one of these little microphone things automatically built into it on the side, like those little headphones do. I stuck my headphones in and I walked up and down the mall where I lived at the time, just talking out my book. Because this voice typing tool literally transcribes what you're saying as you are saying it. It also allows you to not be looking at that page and be freaked out by the page or worrying about perfection. So I simply just went to each page, what's the question, how to something. And I was like, right, okay, how to something, blah, blah, blah. This is how I would do it. This is the approach I'd take. These are the steps that I would follow. Talked it all out loud. It all came out like blur, but it came out. And I got home that afternoon, having walked my baby up and down the mall, talking to myself all day long. I looked mental, but at the end of the day, I'd written a book. Ta-da! So all I had to do when I got home was just go through that document and edit it and then upload it to Amazon. And that's how I published my book in 72 hours.
Yeah, that's just amazing, and it's so easy. And you were the first one that told me about the tool with Google Drives, and now there's Otter and there's other apps that people can use, and it is really, and that's the scary part about facing that blank page. What's next? But if you've got it planned out like you've done, then it's just a case of answer those questions and you're there. So can I ask you why? You said why you wanted to write a book, but what was it that really okay, this is the time now, I really should, because again, we have a lot of entrepreneurs who are in the journey, they're growing their business and they're not sure, I've only been in the business for a few months or a few years. What is the right time to write your book?
Right now. You know so much right now. You know more than a lot of people do about your thing. Like I said before, you do not have to know everything about your thing. In fact, that is quite literally a human impossibility to know everything about your thing. A, there's too much. B, things change so rapidly that you could not possibly ever have all of the information about a particular topic. So all you have to do is share what you know right now with the people that don't yet know that. And if you are sort of holding off and stalling for some reason, not sharing this information, you are keeping that information from them. They need that information right now. So share it right now. Your book description will say what is in the course. It's not a book about 10 things you don't know. Your book description says this is what's in it. If people need that bit of information, brilliant, they'll go and buy that particular book. So for me, it was about kind of realizing that as experts in our field, as business owners, it is an obligation. I mean, we have been put on planet Earth with this knowledge and with this desire twinkling inside of us for a reason. Please do not let this little spark of a fire inside you, this idea that keeps tapping you on the head, I'd love to write a book, I'd love to write a book. It's the universe quite literally going, can you please write the book? I have given you a purpose, I've given you a destiny to help and share with other people. So that for me, first of all, it was that thing of like, okay, I'm here for a reason. I've been given my knowledge that I've got already in my head for a reason. My entire life to the age I am today has been training for what I know now. I don't know everything, but I know this much, so I can share this much right now. The other thing, and if I don't share it, I'm literally doing a disservice to my own destiny. Just do it. Listen to the message. Listen to that sign. It's a destiny thing. The second thing for me was having a sense of legacy. And I don't mean to get doom and gloom here, but life is freaking precious. And if we haven't seen that from just this pandemic, 4 months ago, I was about to have my second baby. I would never in my life have predicted that we would be in a situation right now where millions of people are dead because of a disease that we still don't understand. Literally millions of people were alive a few months ago and they are dead. They're gone. Their life does no longer exist. What mark have they left on planet Earth? What will people say about them forever onwards? The second you write something on a page, you immortalize that forever. You leave a piece of you behind that your children will be fascinated by. Your children's 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 children will get to find out about you. You're their ancestor. You get to stay alive and impact people for the rest of time. I don't know about you, but on my bookshelf, I have got books that were written hundreds of years ago. And I have learned from them today in this world that is so different from that world hundreds of years ago. That book today, hundreds of years after that author who penned it has died is still changing my life and other people's lives who are reading those books. Don't ever underestimate your ability to do that by your thoughts, your feelings, your methods, the way you see the world. Pour it on a page. You could 200 years later be changing somebody's life. And I think that's an amazing thing. And then thirdly, the reason why is, again, that credibility factor. I knew that there was a certain level in my business that I wanted to get to. It's not what everyone wants, but my personal ambition was to be seen as somewhat of a leader in my field. That was my personal goal. It's not everybody's, but that's what I wanted to do. That was my goal I was going for. And I knew that to do that, one of the fastest ways to do that was to publish my work, publish my thoughts, my perspective, my approach. That's what makes us unique. We don't have to be right or wrong to be brilliant. We simply just have to say, this is what I've done. This is how I implement this. This is a strategy that's worked for me. No one can ever tell you that you're wrong or right when you approach things that way. And that's exactly all your book needs to be.
Absolutely. And that's so amazing, because this is a proverb that I heard when I was in Africa. And that's what really pushed me to do what I do. And that was, a Maasai village chieftain, when he said to me that every time an elder dies, a library burns to the ground. And that's what you said. Our lives are so precious, and all the experiences that we have is so unique. So it's absolutely perfect. What I wanted to ask you then was, we write the book, and then, what you've done is you've leveraged it so beautifully, because then you've gone out and used the book as a tool to get you to other places. So can you tell our listeners a little bit about how you did that, whether you're in media, whether, you've got all these amazing things that have come out of a book?
Yeah, guys, like, every single thing you do has the power to multiply in many different ways. And I always say to all of the people that I work with, never create anything in your business in isolation from the rest of your business. I have people that will just say to me, right, I'm going to go and create a course. And they just create a course over here, and then they finish it. And they're like, okay, now what shall I do next? Next shiny thing. Oh, I'm going to go write a book. And they sell that over there. And yes, for some people that might work to a degree, but I believe they are massively missing out on the benefits and the true value that creating products and publishing our work, our thoughts, can actually be. So a couple of things that I do to start making sure that everything works together is, everything should link to everything else in some way. The general overview of a business, a successful one, and it is exactly how I run my own business, is I make sure that I have a number of different products and services at different prices. So I always say everyone has to have a lead magnet. That is a free thing that you give away that attracts your target market to get them into your ecosystem, right? To get them into your world. So for you guys, I'd recommend the first book you should publish should be a short ebook, something really short, really small. People don't want big fat lead magnets, right? They just want their top 3 to 5 questions answered. Dudes, that needs to just be anything up to 5 pages. That is all it needs to be. An ebook, that's fine. That's fine for an ebook. Does it answer their questions? Is it the question they want answered? Of course, they're going to jump in and sign up for that, right? So that's a lead magnet. Make that your little ebook, right? Then you want to go up to cheap products. Your cheap products are your paid books, the books that people are going to pay a price for. It could be a cheap little mini course, maybe that answers the top 10 questions that they have in your particular topic. Then go up to your authority products. Your, hey, I am the leader in this thing. You might, create an online course. You might have a big fat hardcover, the Everything I Know book, okay, which is going to be obviously a higher price. From your higher price stuff, you might then start involving you. Maybe you have a coaching program or coaching services of some kind. Perhaps you have like an online study course that includes live calls with you. So it's kind of got that teacher-led element. Well, now you're in it, your price is going to go up. Then from there, you might have maybe, retreats or boot camps. Back in the day when we were allowed to leave our houses, but we will get there again, where you take people away for 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, and they get completely immersed into your project. Shoma, I know that you run writing retreats. This is a wonderful way for you to help your people get from, zero to a finished thing, whilst you as the expert are there holding them, embracing them, guiding them through the entire thing with a nice bit of yummy cake and food thrown in as well. And then you might have from that your done for you services. So perhaps there's a thing where you literally do it for them. You know, Shoma, I know, again, you have a done for you service where you sit with your clients and you help them write their books, right? So my version of that is I build people's online schools for them. I create their courses for them, right? So there, you see there's this, you can apply that structure to any type of business. So now any product that you create should feed into that whole system where you take people from the free thing up to the higher paying stuff as you go along. And so there's a number of different ways that I kind of tie that all together with my books. Now, for those of you watching the video version of this, I'm going to slide away from my microphone. I just want to show you the power of something. Now, all of my books, here's a couple of them here. For those of you just listening to the audio, you can watch the video version of this in the link below. But the first page of my book, I give away a free thing. Okay, so there's a link in my first page of my book and it says, a gift for my readers, get this particular free thing, go to this link. Now, if they buy the hard copy book, it's the first thing they see. I've made sure the link is really easy for them to literally type into the internet. But all of my hard copy books are also available as Kindle books. Now, if you guys go on to Amazon.com, you go and look at any book, it has the opportunity for you to look inside that book before you even buy it. So you can click look inside and it will show you the first few inside pages and a couple of random pages from inside the book. So what's the first page they see when they look inside? It's get a free thing. Now on Kindle and in the previewer before they've even bought, that link is clickable. So I have found from my Google Analytics that I actually steal ethically a huge amount of traffic from people just browsing Amazon who, you know, look inside the book, they get the free thing. Yeah, they ignored the $2 book, but they came and joined my business ecosystem. They got my free thing. Guess what? They loved the free thing. I offered them a paid thing and eventually they became a paying customer. So that is a really, really clever strategy for you guys to use if you're creating non-fiction books and you want them to go from a browser, viewer or shopper on Amazon's customer to making them your customer.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, this look inside feature, and you know the fact that, and I've got about 6 or 7. I should have got them ready of your books that I've bought, and they're all hard copy because I'm one of those people. Although I have a Kindle, I still love reading that. You know, holding that physical.
Oh, you can't beat the smell of I'm a book sniffer. I just love it. So another way that I've used my books to really increase my income, look guys, you're never really going to become mega rich self-publishing on Amazon. Amazon take far too much for cut. So I always say use it as a wonderful opportunity for yourself to be found. It's up to you to then, you know, commercialize that thereon after. However, I tell you how I have made a lot of money from my books. Now, of course, you can save these books as a PDF, right? So it doesn't matter. Some of these are 300-400 pages long, but I've saved them as a PDF. Now, I have a free gift I'm going to give you guys today. It is my free course creation starter kit, and it will literally take you through the step-by-step process for finding content to teach in a course. But the exact same thing applies to writing a book, okay? But I want you to see exactly what happens when you put in your email address to get my free course creation starter kit. So you put your email address in, your course creation starter kit will be emailed to you immediately. But what will happen next is a new page will automatically pop up and it will say, hey, just before you go, be my face going, hey, before you go, would you like to get a copy of every single one of my books? And obviously mine are all about course creation and creating education-based businesses and all that kind of stuff. So they're only going to be getting a course creation starter kit if they're interested in that stuff. I go, before you go, I've got 12 books. Would you like to get all of them? They sell normally for $30 each. Would you like to get all of them for $27? I mean, bargain. So many people go, oh yeah, awesome. So they'll pay their $27 right there and then, having only just signed up for a free thing, and I'll sell all of them in one go. Well, guess what? All of those then lead to my paid courses. So have a look at what I'm doing there and copy the process. This is exactly what you can be doing once you're an author. You've got these digital products for life that can go on. And I'm telling you now, $27 here, $27 there, $27 there. It all really, really begins to add up as a completely passive income stream for you whilst building your credibility and feeding people into your system for your higher products and services.
And Sarah, yeah, that's just so incredible. And thank you, because all these, people in the group are going to get access to all those courses. I myself have done the in-person course with you, the full day course, where I went into Sarah's studio and we filmed an entire course, and that's really what got me into this course creation process. And it was wonderful because Sarah is able to get your thoughts, which are kind of nebulous, and I didn't even know where I was going. I know books, but I didn't know how to create a course. And she was able to take that, structure it, probably because you've got that teaching, the curriculum, the education side that you're so good at. She was able to take that, structure it, and then just record the whole course in a day. I was amazed that you could do that. I thought this took at least 9 months.
You did it too, like straight in the studio, off you go. And this is the thing, isn't it? All we're doing is sharing what we know. We're preempting and predicting and researching what the most common questions are of the audience. And the point is, we already know the answers. So, you can just quickly share them just like that.
And the magic that you've done. So, I would encourage anyone who's thinking of doing a course is to reach out to you. And the other thing you said, and this is the first thing I heard years ago at a networking event that you were speaking at, is the amount of free information that you give out. And people are often scared to, am I giving out all my secrets? And you can never do that. But I'm amazed if you just want to tell people a little bit about why you give out so much information and how you get it back tenfold.
Yeah, I truly believe on the old adage that giving is receiving. And as somebody who gives, I'm not doing very badly for myself. I'm going to tell you that now. My business is very successful financially. So look, I honestly can tell you now, I had a lot of people say to me, and when I'm saying to people, give content, answer questions by video, answer them in books, answer them in ebooks, answer them as blog posts, answer them on YouTube. There are so many different ways and different formats that you can answer people's questions. And people go to me, Sarah, am I not going to cannibalize my own business if I start giving away all my secret recipes? And this is where I like to use this analogy. And I believe this is probably the analogy that I used all those years ago, Shoma, when we first met, is, I love to use celebrity chefs as my example as to how this works. Now, guys, I have made literally millions of dollars in my career. And every single cent of that came from me giving away some free content. 100% of every single cent came from free stuff. So these celebrity chefs, now I don't know how many of you listening or watching today have, some cookbooks on your shelf in your kitchen, probably covered in dust and moths coughing out of it if you open them below mine, right? But I'm sure that most of us listening to this today have a cookbook on our shelves. Now, that's interesting to me because I bet that celebrity chef who wrote that cookbook, in fact, I guarantee, probably has videos on YouTube where they quite literally walk you through the entire recipe, the exact proportions of every tiny ingredient, exactly how to put the ingredients together. They show you, they demonstrate, you can print it out, they mix it, they eat it at the end. You've got a television in your front room. I can guarantee you that they've got stuff on TV where they do the exact thing for free. There are websites with their recipes on for free. There's all this stuff for free where they give you the exact recipe, the exact measurements, the exact ingredients, and exactly how to do it. But you still paid $30 for the recipe cookbook. What? Right? Why? Why? Because it's a different medium. It's a different way of engaging with the content. And I want a thing, like we like things, we do. So they still made money from books, even though the exact same recipes are online free of charge. Well, then look what happened next. Some of them have gone on to open multi-million-dollar cooking academies. What? We can just get their $30 book and learn how to cook the thing. Not people are still paying tens of thousands of dollars a year for their place in one of these cooking schools. Those people have now gone on and opened restaurants all around the world, gigantic franchises of their name, the Jamie Oliver restaurant, right? Where you will go and you will pay $250 before a bottle of wine to go and eat the food that you've got the recipe for on top of your microwave covered in moths, right? The only reason that those people even have a celebrity name or an academy or a freaking cookbook is because they gave away free stuff in the first place. the free TV show, the free YouTube channel, the free cooking thing on their Instagram page before anyone even knew who they were. This, guys, is the power of putting content out for free. It is the only way people find you, can have a little taste of you, a little experience of you before they decide if they're going to buy anything. Just like you go to the deli counter in the supermarket and can taste a little bit of cheese before you then go and buy a whole entire block. You know, all this data shows that if people get to sample the little taste of cheese or the little piece of salami first, something like 80% conversion rate of them actually buying a thing, compared to people who look at it and don't taste anything. This is your letting people taste you, try you, experience you, and everyone engages with content in different ways. I promise you, the more you give away, the more customers you will get on your email list, the more people you will have talking about you, tagging you, saying your name, recommending you, and by complete default, therefore, and general statistics, the more money you're going to make.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so true. And just looking at all the free content that I'm always forever clicking to see, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. And there's so much information. And it's not just about course creation. You know, you teach them the tech side of things, the marketing side of things, all of that. So, you know, like I said, you're a powerhouse and you've got an absolute wealth of information there. So I really encourage anybody listening in is just type in sarahcordner.com and you'll see your screen explode.
It's pretty amazing. Like, Shoma, I think it's really important that when people do that, because a lot of people kind of look at my empire that I've kind of built and they're like, oh, I just can't do that. And I'm like, mate, I did not do this stuff overnight. It's taken me 14 years to get to where I am at right now. And the point is, there was a day when I wrote my first blog post and there was one little one on there. You know, there was a day when I didn't have a Facebook page or a business page or a Facebook group. And then when I did start them, there was nobody in any of them. There was 0 followers. Yeah, we all start in the same place. It's a long journey. It takes time. But remember, you know, you add 1, you add 2, it accumulates, it keeps growing, and eventually, you know, you do end up having this giant tree with branches all over the place, and you will get there if you just don't stop.
Absolutely. I've got 2 tiny small questions for you. One from the listeners, because what I do is I do a free Friday training every week, and people, you know, keep it's live, it's on Zoom, so people are free to ask me anything about book editing, publishing, writing. And one of the questions that I've got about 3 or 4 times now is, entrepreneurs, do we do the course first? Do we write the book first? What comes, the cart before the horse, or, you know, what really follows? So
honestly, it's whatever is easier for you. Never try and swim upstream, right? Never try and run uphill. If you are naturally good at writing and writing makes you feel comfortable and safe, go for the writing. Write first, then get comfortable doing it on video and create a course. If you're somebody like me who's is a bit better to just chat things through and talk it out and say it out loud, then do the course first and then transcribe the videos. Literally just transcribe them using a digital tool like rev.com, and boom, you automatically have a book. So because of my natural style, I have genuinely found that creating the course first, doing everything, answering all of the questions by video, just simply transcribing it automatically gives me my book transcript at the end. But if you want to work the other way around because that's easier for you, absolutely do what's easier for you.
Yeah, okay. And to follow the processes, all they have to do is log into your courses and they can get that A to Z.
Absolutely. So if you would like to, get started on your book or your course, my course creation starter kit will give you all of the tips in there to get moving. And that's at sarahcordner.com/starter kit. The link will be in the notes below, I'm sure. And yes, that will give you the Billy basics. Here's step 1, here's step 2, here's how to structure it all, here's how to put it in the right order, here's how to find out what questions people are asking so that you can answer them in your book, and obviously go out there, change people's lives, really, really help people move forward, and of course, grow your business exponentially at the same time.
Fantastic. And one final fun thing for all our listeners here is Sarah writes children's books. How cool is that? And I've got them now that I've got a grandson. I've actually bought those books to pass on to him. And she does really fun stuff, lovely stories. So it's not all about being serious and writing, all these business out. You can do anything you like, whether it's fiction or children's books. And just to end, finally end this interview, is just tell them what you've done with those children's books. And I will put all the links and all the, those photos and all that up when I post this interview. But yeah, just leave our listeners with a little message that you can write anything, create anything you want. It's all up here, really.
It really, and Shoma, I love that you've said there, make it fun. It is such a fun process. Creativity is fun. Make it fun. One of my favorite books is that book called Big Magic by Gilbert. It tells you, it's supposed to just be an outlet, a moment of joy, of unleashing your inner soul. So, I have published now 3 children's books. I was doing all these very serious things about curriculum design and training principles and all this kind of stuff. And then, one day I was just watching my cat, and my cat's freaking hilarious. He sleeps everywhere. And I thought, well, that's funny. 1 minute he's asleep in the washing basket, and then he's asleep in the bath. And then the next minute, and he's in all these places. And I thought, well, how funny. So I wrote this funny story about, how Bundy goes to bed. Where does Bundy the cat sleep? Another time I watched the cat running around the garden and chasing butterflies and all these things that was flying around on a windy day. So I thought, a question I had when I was little that I got laughed at for was I asked the question, why does the wind move? So I was sitting there watching my cat, who was just so obsessed with all these things flying around in the air, that I wrote a book about him called, Bundy's Adventure. Why does the wind move? And then I remembered back, I was enjoying this creative process so much. I remembered back to when I was a little kid. And my grandmother used to sprinkle fairy dust on my eyes. So we used to help her catch these imaginary fairies. And when it was so much fun, she'd pretend that they were really naughty and they were hiding in the drawers, they were hiding under Teddy's paws, and they were doing all these cheeky things. And eventually we'd catch them, me and my sister. And my grandma would take a little bit of magic fairy dust from each of them and sprinkle them in her hands and send us off to Sleepyland. And I was like, I used to love that memory so much that I literally wrote a whole kids book just on that little moment of going to bed and catching the fairies. And it's just beautiful. And now my children have got this memory of my grandmother. That story, that thing will now be passed on the generations of my entire family. And my grandma must be sitting up there now looking down on us, just so proud that that little thing is now going to, forever go on with her great grandkids. And it's fun. I really love that.
Yes, it's that's what I, really, the message is, go out and have fun, whether it's for your business, whether you're writing a kid's book, whether you're, putting out painting stuff, whatever. Just have fun while you're doing it. Everything else will come. So thank you so much, Sarah. This has been wonderful connecting with you after ages, I think a few years. We will let all our listeners know how they can reach you and, connect with you. And let's hope that all of you who are writing, creating courses or writing books, just go forth and do it. That's, done is better than perfect.
Absolutely. If you don't get it out there, you help nobody. You have a 100% chance of earning nothing and helping nobody. You put something out there and immediately now you have a big chance of making a difference both to other people and to you. So just let go, enjoy the process, let it flow however it comes out, and share it with the world unapologetically and proudly.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sarah.
My pleasure. See you all again.